my god, I'm late for the 8:35 to Beer Town. Whatever will I do? Uber? Jet ski? Do you think I should catch a ride with that old man who pulled up to the side of the road and offered me sweets through his window? No. Forget public transport. Forget unwanted chocolate advances. Look around you. You're already here. It's the Lagerlog's Point of View with Tom and Stu. I'm Tom. He's Stu. Say hello, Stu.
Hello, Tom.
That was beautiful. Yes, episode 3 is upon us, and we're completing the trilogy tonight. I know what you're thinking. Will there be incestual sex and people thinking they were out but being pulled back in regardless? Who knows? But what I can promise is not to run for 162 minutes. That would be exhausting. Plus, I forgot my headband. Stu, how are you, buddy? Anything to mention regarding your recent conversion to Scientology?
I almost had someone to go with there. Then you threw Scientology in the end. Is that, man, I'm not that quick to think.
Did you not want people knowing about that? Is that something you'd rather?
I'm trying just to get to the next level, my friends. I just need to get you, your partner, your family in on this scheme. Then we climb this pyramid together.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. I'm in.
There's beer.
There's going to be beer tonight. The severe lack of UFOs tonight, unfortunately, guys. I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
if
aye.
Anyone cares.
Aye. You're right. You're good. You're holding up.
Well, not really. I've been struck with a nasty case of conjunctivitis.
You look a bit rough.
Yeah, I do. Well, thanks for saying. I just thought I'd been sniffing holes I shouldn't have again. What can I say? I'm just a real sucker for Swiss cheese, but hanging on in there, Stu, buddy. We've had an interesting week. We've got a pretty special event we're attending on. Well, the listeners will be hearing this as we attend, if everything goes to plan. And I was going to ask you if you wanted to fill everybody in with what we were doing and what they can do to possibly be in with a chance to meet their idols, but too late, listeners. You blew it. You should be bootlegging the show like a proper die-hard fan would. What are we doing against you?
Yes, we're going to be taking part in a virtual beer tasting. This is nothing organised by us. We've just bought a couple of tickets to join in on the fun.
Yeah, so it's hosted by guys local to you, Stu. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes. Only way I could describe it is sort of like a Facebook group that combines a love of beer and comics.
Awesome.
Going by the title of the Brewgooders.
Awesome. So we got we got a few bit of beer tasting going on, a bit of quizzing going on. Should be nice little meet and greet, I would think, with some like-minded fellows. So yeah, but less about that, more about tonight. Very interesting combo. I can't believe it's not bitter, but it is. So that's a redundant tagline. Melanie Sykes' favourite beer, and one of mine too, Boddingtons. We've got the classic draft cans this evening to enjoy. And also a bit of a new experience for the show, a fruit lager made by Kopparberg.
Yes.
Are these both new experiences for you tonight, babe?
Definitely, pickle.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, Boddies is one of my favourites, but the Kopparberg is completely brand new to me. So looking forward to jumping in. So I mean, seeing as the Boddies is the tamer of the two in terms of flavour, I thought we'd jump on that one first, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Let's do it. We'd crack this bad boy. Are you ready? I
feel like this is like the first tin of the lager logs.
It is. You're right. Right.
I could tell it's also got like the little counterweight inside it.
Got the widget inside, yeah. We're breaking new ground tonight, but I'm just gonna try and get this.
Oh god, fuck, my house never blew up there. You know, like that one gag on The Simpsons where they shake the tin of Duff so hard and it fucking kills Homer.
Want to make sure we got that for the show, for the listeners' ears, for the pleasure. Look forward to this, man. This has been in the fridge for about 72 hours now, so I think this is going to go down very well. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Smooth.
Yeah, there's No harshness whatsoever.
Mm.
Like to the point where I almost questioned: is this flat? It's in a tin.
It's not flat, nobody. It's just very smoothie. It tastes like a smoothie. Very smooth, very creamy. Man, just hits the spot like silk. This is a go-to of mine. The best pint of beer I ever had in my life to this day was in the Rovers return, Madame Tussauds, Blackpool. And I remember it being one of those weird, warm and windy days, and me and my pals had been drinking all morning, had a break to check out the sights and sounds of the Waxwork Museum, as you do. That's where all the chicks hang out. And like an oasis in the middle of the desert, there it was, Boddingtons on draft, about halfway
Oh,
through the building. Exceptional. Although Ken Barlow would not leave me alone. While I was trying to enjoy my pint. Yeah, magnificent day. Got invited into a council flat lesbian dance off a bit later, but that's a story for another day and another show, probably.
aye.
So, yeah, here we are, Boddingtons Draught Bitter, the cream of Manchester, standing at a healthy 3.5%. It was actually one of the first beers to come with, as you said, Stu, the widget, the little ball inside the can, which agitates the surrounding beer when opened and results in more bubbles. Science. Boddington's Bitter was introduced in 1971, brewed at Strange Ways Brewery, and was the highest selling can bitter in the UK from 1992 until 2000, and in 1993 began to be officially exported overseas. There is an export version at a much higher 4.6% that was only briefly made available in the UK in the mid 90s. Sadly, the cask version is supposed to be amazing, apparently, and supposedly a tad more flavoursome. Okay, so let's just stop right there. Thank
Mhm.
you very much, and jump into last beers watched. Stu, what's been happening in Beerland for you this week, dude?
I had a couple of visits to the old beer town this week.
Oh yeah.
My usual pit stop with Stewart Brewery. This week I sampled the Holyrood Pale Ale,
How was
which
that?
was very nice.
Awesome.
Just kind of like what you want out of a nice pale ale. Just strong bitterness, bit bubbly. And yeah, went down a treat. A
Mm.
few nights later, I think was sitting watching Raising Arizona and decided to
Cool.
further their experience by having Stewart Brewery's Stewart's Craft Lager.
Ooh, okay. How was it,
And
dude?
it was not bad. It was just kind of just a crisp lager, probably maybe a little bit. I'm only going by recent comparison, comparing it to like Hop House Lager. That
Ah, okay, similar to that.
probably a bit smoother. This was a little bit more bitter, a bit coarser to drink. But
Mm.
outside of that, whilst podcasting for Films and Swearing, covering The Rock from 1996, I
Hell
decided to
yeah.
crack open the McEwen's Champion. That was a silly, silly thing to do at the beginning of a podcast. Like, yes, let's sink this lovely, what was it, 7% volume beer.
Hell
And
yeah, dude.
that's a dark, dark beer. That
Oh
was pouring
man.
out. It's like, oh, it's only described as premium beer. It's like, this is dark as fuck.
You're onto
But
something special with that one, dude.
and it was like I've said it 10 times tonight already, but it was smooth. Like
Yeah.
that
Surprisingly
was
smooth. Yeah.
so like such a fucking joy to drink. There
Oh
was
man. Really
requiring
glad you liked
no
it.
effort.
You've had that in your fridge for I think the past 14 months, has it
Oh,
has it been?
totally. It came with the
I'm sure
house.
it's fermented by
Yeah.
by now.
It was like syrup pouring out that bowl. And literally I had a good drink of that and then spent the next 2.5 hours just talking shit on my
Yep.
podcast.
Not
Literally, it's like struggling to say the names like Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris.
You would think being on the Scotch Ale, Scotch names would be a lot easier for you to pronounce. I don't know. Nothing to do with the fact that you are, Scottish. Just
Yes. I started the podcast with a Sean Connery impression, and my co-host could only describe it as pirate/Irish.
Isn't that you just speaking? I'm confused.
It's not at all, Tom.
A little bit different. It's a little bit different.
It's Sir Sean back from the ditch. Here with an open hand slap to your cheeky cunty comments.
All right, Sean, calm down.
Oh, sorry. I was possessed for a moment there. Jesus.
It's getting
I think
scary
he's
now.
gone.
I'm literally shaking in my boots. Jeez Louise. Okay.
Doctor, no.
Right, so although you enjoyed the brewski, definitely a lesson learned.
Yes. Totally. That's the after podcast beer. As we said, like it was the 7% volume. So how we like to describe it as the sleepy beer.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was like taking a handful of Cocomdemo and a couple swigs of whiskey. Is it right now? Try and have an intelligent conversation. It's like, no, sir, we're going down. We're going down to sleep.
Try to stay awake after half a bottle of that. It's always a difficult task.
Spoke about the Snyder cut yet. Stay awake.
That's gonna take a long time. Jeez. All right, that sounds a pretty good week, buddy.
Yes.
Awesome, dude. I've had a couple of interesting ones myself. I've got my Birmingham Brewing Co. brewskis, which I'd like to discuss in our next segment, next segment. So stay tuned for that, listeners. But before them, I managed to sample last weekend. I did it. I tracked down the OG Hazy from Brewdog.
Ooh. No, what was the volume on that one again?
So that was back to like the 7.3, I want to say. Mm-hmm. So I paired that up with a couple of Love and Hate IPAs, another New England IPA. Mm-hmm. The stronger Hazy Jane doesn't lose any of the flavour for me. Still rocking that sort of fruit taste, just got a bit more of a bite to it. Lovely stuff. The Love and Hate IPA made by Vocation Brewery. Quite strong as well. I think another 7%. Not bad at all. Maybe a bit more of a citrus tone to it. Maybe a bit more of a sharpness to it. Pretty good. Might have another go on it on its own to really experience the flavour a bit more. But definitely, the OG was the winner for me. So awesome. That's kind of what's quite easy to track down. So that'll be kind of what I'm sticking to compared to the weaker one. Sunk a couple of bottles of Bass on Wednesday, I think, which was nice to find in the supermarket. One of the many I hit on my beer hunt quest for the show. Always the highlight of my week.
I'm doing research. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's one I've had a few times in the past. It's cheap and cheerful. It's a sweet best bitter with a nice strength at 4.4%. Quite smooth. Great stuff. I always thought it was a local brewski in my head, but it's actually made in Burton-on-Trent. But yes, one you don't find that often, so it was awesome to come across it. But that was about it for now for me. What are you thinking about the Boddingtons then, bud? Where's your head at with it?
It's fucking gone. It's just I feel like I'm just drinking water.
Yeah, so easy to drink. I mean, it's one of my go-to session bitters, alongside Worthingtons, John Smith's, Belhaven. Really easy to drink. Love the taste, love the creaminess. Boddies, fangirl for life. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. So our second beer of the night, which I'm looking forward to, is Kopparberg Premium Fruit Lager, lemon and lime,
Fruit lager,
5.0% vol, which, I mean, it's something that I think we spoke about fruit lagers a lot. Well, not a lot, but we've spoke about kind of maybe it's not, or something, a category of beer that we don't often participate in, or we don't kind of, tend to pick up a lot, tend to investigate a lot would be a kind of a better phrase. But I'm looking forward to this, so I think it's going to be a bit of a different experience. But we
Yes.
shall see. Let's just crack it open.
Let's thank the wheel for these choices.
The wheel, I think the wheel did us. I mean, so far the wheel did us pretty well. I think this week.
One last swig of Boddies.
Last shot of Boddies. I've been, very disappointed in myself the last couple of episodes, not being able to, finish a bottle and in the required time frame. Right, here we go. Are you ready to
Go for a wee
ready to
pour.
rock? Go for it, big guy.
But this just
Smells
doesn't
really
seem
nice.
natural.
Yeah, definitely getting a lot of lemon and lime vibes to it.
Totally, it's definitely like this is gonna be the hard thing. Is like this should be cider, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's a bit of it's thrown me a little bit. The smell has. Right, let's dive in. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Doesn't taste like lager at all.
Just sitting here in silence, trying to take it all in. Yeah, I'm definitely not getting any kind of lager vibes. It just tastes almost like I'm not even getting cider vibes. It tastes a bit flat, not very fizzy, smooth. If anything, I'm getting kind of shandy vibes to it, but a lot less kind of a lot less fizzy.
We're just drinking lemonade.
It does taste like kind of flat, kind of alcoholic lemonade at the moment to me. While I decide whether I like that or not. Here we go. Kopparberg Fruit Lager, standing at a solid 5%. This bad boy was launched in, I believe, 2016, although I've personally never come across it until hunting it down for tonight. Not going to dive too deep into Kopparberg's backstory, as they primarily make cider, and this isn't a Granny Smith podcast, god damn it. So, yeah, Kopparberg is a small town in Sweden. Shout out to my boy Kenny B. The cider was first introduced into the UK in 2003, and they tend to stray from the beaten fermented apple juice path a lot of the time with stuff like rhubarb cider, rosé cider, and what we're drinking tonight, lemon and lime lager. Stu, are you a big cider drinker yourself?
I think like back in the day where I always found beer a bit too bitter, and I always kind of just wanted something like, I just want to get drunk off of like diluted juice. Cider would be like that nice middle ground.
You went out of Buckfast?
That's the thing. I've always something you don't want to dance with, because when you go down that path, it's a path of no return.
You'll be breakdancing for sure.
But yeah, Kopparberg was like kind of your go-to cider if you was like, right, we're going to Spoons, we're going to be there all night, and it's just having a bunch of cider, and Kopparberg was just kind of the go-to. It was the big fancy name at the time.
It's always the one you see a lot, isn't it? Like kind of, as I say, like in like Wetherspoons and most pubs, and I think it's one of the like cider drinkers in my life. People that I've known have always kind of been had a Kopparberg's kind of been their go-to cider really. So it's definitely popular one. It's just not something I've ever really kind of been. It's ever appealed to my taste buds, really, to be honest. But yeah, this is not going down too badly at the moment. I'm still very unsure.
It's a mystery.
It is.
I think you nailed it when you said it's kind of like a shandy.
That's the vibes. Yeah, it's the vibes I'm getting, and I do really like shandy, and I think it's I think the lack of fizz is just kind of throwing me a little bit. So okay, let's dive into the next topic. You asked for it. I was neutral on it. Stu was please no on it.
Not again.
It's listeners' questions. So
not more.
First up to bat, we have Gootery 1989. Very good year. He asks, which local beer has been your favourite so far to try?
Sorry, what was that name again?
It was Guthrie, 1989. I think it might
Guthrie?
be Dutch. Uh,
Guthrie. Guthree.
yeah, RIA. Yeah,
Guthrie. Yeah.
that you know that for sure though, because it sounds like you know for
Yeah.
certain. I
I,
don't.
I, I
I'm
know
an,
that guy.
oh,
So it's definitely not
uh,
Steve Gutenberg.
I thought it might
Like,
be like.
I was like, holy shit, Mahoney! Mahoney's here!
I
Cocoon!
thought there was one in the oven, dude. Right, Stu. I'm gonna let's get over semantics. Let's just dive in. Stu. I'm gonna pass the bat on to you, and yeah, I know obviously you're kind of very into your local brewskis at the moment, particularly the past few months. You've kind of been sinking a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's been your favorite so far? Kind of highs, lows, everything in between.
Well, let's see. I've got two answers.
Mm.
When it comes to local, sort of like craft beer or local breweries in Fife, there seems to be a good maybe 5 to 10 going on in Fife itself.
It's
So
crazy that is. It's crazy
I've
that is.
only really managed to kind of tackle two,
Mm.
and thanks to the Brewgooders event next week, we'll be able to
Yeah.
sample some beers, and that's from two other breweries that I haven't tried. But
Really look forward to it. Really look forward to it, man. I just find it
the
amazing that there's so many kind of breweries or local brewers kind of in such a in such a small area. Like it's kind of
exactly.
crazy to me, which but it's awesome. I mean, there's so much kind of available to have a
hmm
go on. It's awesome.
So my first one would be Cool Brewing. Like we've mentioned them several times on the podcast.
They deserve
Uh,
it. They
they
deserve it.
are always kind of there when it's like little artisan festivals, like little food stalls or farmers markets. They always tend to be there with like a selection of beer. And initially, I was never impressed with the lager they did because that's what I started with. I was always drinking lagers because it was the easiest thing for me to handle. The
Mm.
thoughts of IPAs and stouts was just like, oh no, that's fucking next level stuff. I just need lager. I'm sorry, lads, just a lager, please. But I've definitely grown to love their pale ale, which was titled Baby Badger,
I remember you talking about this one. Yeah.
and the evolution, the IPA, which they called Source Code.
Hmm.
And Source Code was like the first drink I had in my new house. Like after
Ah,
we've
nice.
moved all the furniture and we're settled, just sat down and you're like, oh, okay, right, let's watch Django Unchained and just cracked off a beer for the
That's.
fridge.
I mean, that's the film to watch.
So
At a housewarming party,
and
definitely.
definitely the Source Code was really better. It was definitely for like an IPA. It had an extra kick to it. But
Mm.
it just after like a kind of a hard day's graft of just shifted furniture, packing
Oh yeah.
boxes, it was just a fucking treat. And then towards the end of last year, I also picked up like a gift box from Overton. No, Ovenston.
Mm.
Overton's another one. Ovenston, 103 Brewery, and they were the guys that would have the bottles with the blurb on the back that sound as if they were written by yourself.
Oh yeah, those guys. I remember those
Mhm.
guys. Yeah,
Aye, and
I'm taking them to court. They're yeah,
and to
proceedings are definitely happening.
and to be honest, they were actually nice. It was a different style of beer itself. They were going for the real proper like bitters, golden ale, and um, style of beer. It was definitely a lot more bitter, strong beer,
Mm.
but there was just that nice crispness, not Christmas,
Yeah.
to it. So, oh no, the fruit lager's taking hold. Oh, fruit lager, you naughty beer.
Getting weird, dude. I think it's awesome because I think like as the shows obviously progressed, I think you got a bit more accustomed to darker beers and got a bit more kind of interested in darker beers. And it's great that you've had kind of the local or the local kind of breweries have got you back, to hook you up with kind of what you're looking for, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's it. Even like through this Brewgooders event, Cool Brewing, we're more than happy to hook you up as well as me
Shout out.
with some beer for next week.
Real nice guys. Real nice
So-
guys. Really look forward to next week. And obviously, once we've attended, we'll be reporting back here with all the gossip from the night.
Ideally,
ideally, Stu's going to do all the talking.
You're going to be silent.
In a perfect world.
And that's it.
We've already decided. I've been given a list of things I can't say by Stu already. He's passed that. Pass it over to me. So
I'm going to be giving you hand signals throughout the night.
I'm going to be on my best behaviour. And really looking forward to it. All right, man. Awesome. On my end,
you?
Yeah, on my end. So I passed by. I mean, you make me feel terrible with all the local brews you're always sinking into. So I thought I'll check out what's available. On my side of the world. So yeah, I passed by the Birmingham Brewing Company's line in the supermarket a few times, and I thought this week I'd finally jump onto it, Tonto, and take the plunge.
A handful of cans.
Yeah, really, I really like the design of the cans. They're not too fussy. They're kind of simple and to the point, all color coded, depending on what brew it is. They do say all their beers are vegan and gluten free on the cans, so it's an uphill battle already on trying to win me over. No,
I want this tested on animals. I want to see them pour on the IPA doing the sheep smooth.
No animals are harm the making of it. I'm just not interested. But yeah,
I want to see a cat drinking stouts.
Make it happen. I'm gagging for it. Fairly priced. Got 4 for £6. Bagged the citrus pale ale, the triple hot bitter, the Indian pale ale, and the oatmeal stout. So a nice kind of variation. A nice kind of varied group of beers. And I gotta say they're okay. No big flavors for me. The triple hot bitter I was most looking forward to because it sounded really intriguing, like it would be some sort of hybrid between a bitter and an IPA, but it just tasted like a really solid IPA to me. Their actual India pale ale was about 6%, and that was nice. It did have a crisp, strong back end to it, kind of stuck out a little from the pack. But yeah, the citrus pale ale has kind of vanished from my mind a little, unfortunately. Again, not particularly distinct, but very solid for what it was. But the stout was probably the winner in my eyes. Again, no big flavors, but just a nice, smooth stout with the consistency of a bitter. It was kind of odd, but like I really dug it. It didn't have that kind of that creaminess or that kind of you expect stouts to kind of be
like a lighter stout.
Yeah, like a lighter stout, definitely.
Yeah,
it was really odd. It wasn't too kind of flavoursome. It was just kind of nice, like really smooth, and it was kind of odd, but I dug it. So they've got a lager which I didn't try, which I'm definitely gonna track down to have a go on, and a pretty strong white stout. Which I'm definitely gonna see if I can track that down because it sounds really interesting. But yeah, thumbs kind of in the middle for me, like hitchhiking, lying down in the middle of the road. A recommended tactic. But guys, go out. I think the message is support your local brewers.
Yeah,
if you're in the Midlands, whiz out, pick yourself up a few tins of the Birmingham Brewing Company's output, and see for yourself, but I'm definitely gonna keep supporting them. Check out what they've got coming up, and they've as I mentioned a couple of tins that I'd like to kind of track down at the moment. So I'll be kind of keeping my eyes peeled for what they're bringing out next. Thanks for the question. Say something about Guthrie.
Just whisper his name. It's fine.
Do you not want me to whisper? Because it was you whispered. I thought you wanted me to copy
That's good. That's fine.
what you do. Okay, so thank you, Guthrie, 1989, for your question. The next one, which I think ties in pretty well with what we're doing right now, is from Bob's Davison.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit flavored beers, yay or nay?
Oh,
What do you
this is
reckon,
it.
Stu? What's your opinion on the matter? And has this beer tonight changed that opinion in any way?
It's yeah. There we go. Let's clear that sounds.
Mic check.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a nice sweet drink.
Mm.
Is it a nice beer? Well, it's not what I'd look, or it's not what I would. It is not what I would expect from a beer.
Yeah, sweet's what I'm definitely getting, like kind of overwhelmingly sweet as I drink
Yep.
it. Like it's real,
Aye.
kind of real. That's the main flavor that I'm getting. There's definitely obviously lemon and lime flavor, but it's more just kind of this really kind of sweet hit to it.
Is it because
I feel
we've
like I'm
followed
losing
it with...
teeth as we speak.
Is the experience been heightened since we started with a bitter? Let's say
You might
this.
be right, man. Yeah, you might be right. I
Not.
expect this one to be a bit more flavoursome, so I thought we'd kind of keep this for last. But you may be right, dude. I mean, like I was saying, I do like shandy.
Mhm.
In particular, cans of shandy bass. Used to drink it a lot in my youth. It's come around full circle, funnily enough, because I've been tucking into their bitter this week.
Mhm.
But the only other experience I've had, which I think I mentioned on the show before, is bad memories of Carling's Citrus Twist back in the day. And in
Right.
general, it's just not something I've really ever tried to track down and kind of get into. And I think availability is a big issue as well, as it's just
Mhm.
not something you run into most of the time when you're out and about. I mean, I had to go to 3 separate Tesco's to bag this one for tonight's
Jesus.
show, so that's kind of my feelings at the moment. But
Mhm.
has this changed your mind? I don't know. Still just kind of lukewarm on it, really. I think it's nice and refreshing. I think if you were really
Yeah,
thirsty and it was hot and it was a summer's day and
that's an
maybe in a pub
absolute
garden, you could definitely see a
barbecue
few of these.
brewski.
Oh, 100%, dude. Like 100%. Few of these, you could definitely sink really easily. But yeah, not bad at all. But I just think for me, it doesn't really compete with beer. It's kind of in its own separate category, you know?
Mhm.
Like for me, I'd rather turn to a Boddingtons or something of its ilk than I would in terms of jumping on a Kopparberg fruit lager.
Mhm.
But that's just me. That's my opinion. So you can take that with a grain of sugar or not.
Well, this drink definitely.
You feeling very similar, Stu?
Yeah, it's definitely a first for me.
Mm.
It's definitely like a compelling drink, but it almost doesn't feel like a drink. Just in the
No,
sense that
it's
it's
not even a drink. It's not even classed as a drink.
yeah, it's just like what part of this is alcohol? This is lethal.
Mm.
But it's definitely like next time I would probably have this is that yeah, if it's a barbecue and
Yeah.
we have these, I fuck it, why not? Let's have one of these at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think because it's 5%, and I think I can't really taste
Aye,
the
this is
alcohol.
like a dangerous
Yeah,
game to play.
definitely,
It's like,
definitely.
oh, I'll get a few of them. It's like drinking juice.
I'm
It's like, oh
not.
no, now I'm thrown up in the mop bucket.
I'm not drinking this during a 2.5 hour podcast.
Mhm.
For-
I've just ruined this boy's sweet 16 birthday party by throwing up on the barbecue grill.
How
Oh,
many
sorry.
Sweet 16s do you get invited to these
That,
days? I'm guessing absolutely none.
no, that was actually a true story.
Oh
But
no.
we could roll past that.
Dude, you know what to speak about that?
Well, was it a 16th or an 18th? Anyway, he drank too much, threw up in the mop bucket. We all laughed. I was then given a random drink to drink. The 3 random drinks that followed it were Jägermeister. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, fine, fuck it, I'll play along. Fourth one was just this strong, strong fucking whiskey.
Ooh.
And my system wasn't expecting it. Like, obviously, I was expecting, like, Jägermeister, yay, fun, horrible black liquid. And I was like, oh, whiskey. And it was just like, eject, eject, eject. And I was like, oh, man. We were all laughing at the fucking 18-year-old for not handling his drink. Now I'm the one running to the bathroom to projectile vomits
You good
over,
angel looked away.
all over the mother-in-law's bathroom.
That's the only place to projectile
And
vomit, I think.
all I could remember is my phone vibrating on my leg, going, "Oh, my taxi's arrived," and just having to be in the taxi like the Joker from The Dark Knight, hanging out the window.
just trying to take in as much fresh air as you can.
Yeah,
I know the feeling, man. We've all been there.
having to
We've all
kick my
been there.
pregnant wife to tell her to stop the car. I'm gonna be sick.
What was she? Was she taxi driving at the time? Was she?
She was in the passenger in the front seat. She wanted nothing to do with me at this point.
Yeah, of course not.
I was like, "Stop the car! Another pavement pizza coming up."
Ah. Good times, buddy. Good times. So for me, I think obviously Boddies is a definitely a thumbs up. Kopparberg, yeah, I don't know. Kind of have my mind up on it. As I say, I think I'd definitely drink it. I say kind of barbecue, something like a kind of garden party or something nice like that. But it definitely wouldn't be something that I turn to if there was options of bitter or stout or Scotch ale.
So it's like
something
fruit lager or spit in your mouth.
That's definitely what I feel in
Very
inside.
wise not to answer that.
Plead the fifth on that one. Okay, right. That's I think that's another one in the books. But before we go, you guys know what's coming up. The decider of our fate, our supreme leader, the pivoting pint picker. It's the hoop of hops. Just a moment of reverence, just to kind of take it all in.
Before you get the page up.
Stu, you waking him up, yeah?
Come on, wheel. Let's load. Come on, Google
Here
Chrome.
we go.
Let's manipulate the internet.
Yeah, I can't get how sweet it is. It's really kind of.
Yeah, is it this? Is it
hit me
beer? Oh, right. Can you see what I see?
I can.
And it's a spinny wheel of beer.
Is glorious. So,
what
yeah,
we're going to drink next week.
Still got some really fantastic options on there. I can't wait. Really looking forward to it. So, Stu, spin that wheel.
Wow. Here we go.
So exciting.
What are we going to start off with?
Oh, it's an IPA. It was nearly brown ale then. We got an IPA. Awesome.
Right, let's remove that from that. So what are we going to match with our IPA? I mean, already the options are endless.
Here we go.
Only the wheel can decide.
Yeah, we got a Scotch ale. Fantastic. Let's make sure that the next podcast isn't 2.5 hours because we'll be in trouble. Amazing. What a fantastic combo. So we've got an IPA, we've got a Scotch ale. Awesome. A lot of possible matchups there, I think, with that particular head-to-head. So awesome. Tune in next week for that, guys. So thank you. You're too
Beautiful
kind
bastards.
for tuning in. Yeah, yes, what I was going to say. A tip for us. No, please, your unbreakable attention and undying devotion is payment enough. Guys, it's at the Lager Logs for all your booze needs. Join us over there for some fun in the cold. Still pretty nippy out there at the moment.
Yeah, don't wear your half-cut tees. It's not time yet.
Wait, give him.
Don't run off the beach just yet.
Give it a few more weeks, guys. It's over. Leave, please, before I call the police. Bon voyage, booze hounds. Say goodbye, Stu.
Goodbye, Stu. Have we nailed that exit yet? Have we?
Almost choked then, dude. We definitely have.